I'm Walter McDaniel, pen name Scholar on Nerd Age, although most of you on Technorati will just know me by my real name. And we have a little interview for you today. I'm going to cut across to the abilities here. This is an arena shooter with RPG elements known as Our Darker Purpose, and it's about a twisted and dark school. And David Roth, along with Will Wu, are two of the people who have brought us this very interesting little game. So you guys can go ahead and introduce yourselves if you'd like for a moment, and then we'll just go ahead to the questions.
Stage fright, I guess. So my name is Will Wu, I'm working on Our Darker Purpose. I'm focused mostly on sort of the gameplay mechanics, the coding and execution side.
Cool, and I'm David Roth. I'm also working on the game, and I'm working more on the kind of a feel, theme, and the storyline aspects of Our Darker Purpose.
All right, tell us a little bit how you guys got started in gaming.
So we'd both been gamers for a while, and we met each other in graduate school, and both of us wanted to make a game. And we had a conversation, sort of thought like, well, what kind of game would you want to make? What would you put in it? What would be the aspects of it that would make you want to play it? Out of that conversation, essentially in a dining hall, we put together a school project. We said, all right, we're gonna try and build a game together. As that project went on, we realized that we were spending a lot more time on the game, which became known as Our Darker Purpose, than we were on anything else we were doing in school. So after we graduated, we thought, let's try and make this real, and let's try and build this thing. And that's kind of led the game to where it is today.
Alright, so what influences did your game have? Certainly there were some from other arena shooters, but I believe you mentioned there's some other elements you had as well.
Yeah, we've really drawn in a lot of different genres and a lot of different games when coming up with Our Darker Purpose. So, you mentioned on the arena shooter side, Binding of Isaac for sure. Our art gets compared to Don't Starve, for example, quite a bit because it's going for that hand-drawn Tim Burton, Ed Gorey style of art. But we're also pulling from a lot of different, traditional action RPGs. Everything from Diablo, which you'll see like when the mini bosses giving you like different drops and having different abilities, to things like Secret of Mana. And then, for some of the boss designs, we've looked to MMOs like EverQuest and World of Warcraft, for example. So a lot of different genres. Like on the theme and lore side, Dave can talk more about it. But we've looked at stuff like BioShock and Fallout. The perk system, for example, is something that we wanted to pull and give the player different choices of abilities to pick on level up, and that's from. I think Heroes of Might and Magic has that, Fallout has that, a couple of other games may have that as well.
Yeah, it's kind of a bunch of things. I mean, you can also say like our level select system, for instance, is heavily influenced by FTL, for instance.
All right, in the same vein of that question, what sets you apart from other similar games?
I mean, it's the whole combination of things, right? I think it's like a situation where the sum of the parts is greater than the whole. At least that's what we're trying to go for. And so we've included all these really cool elements, and we've tried to push really hard on execution and on the theme, and to get the game to a place where everything works together seamlessly and people have fun playing it. I think there's a lot of awesome games out there, and we're just trying to do our best to stand out there.
All right, that was a pretty good answer. So, how did you come up with this twisted setting for Our Darker Purpose with nefarious children with poison chalk?
Yeah, so I think Will mentioned Burton and Gorey before, and they're big influences on the art style, but they're also they kind of capture a lot of the theme and the feel that we're going for here. Of course, sort of like sort of scary, but not quite, right? Like more kind of like comic gothic, for instance. And we love the idea of sort of the idea of the orphanage boarding school. That's kind of creepy and maybe haunted isn't really the right word, because this is more about sort of the dystopian things that happen when the adults disappear, but like certainly like with some pretty negative forces at work. And it's cool because you can kind of tap into like a bunch of anxieties at once, as far as like fear of monsters and stuff like that, and then just like simpler school like anxieties, right? Like it's scary being in school and like trying to deal with all the other kids when you're a kid. And we like the idea of like, all right, well, what if you up the stakes there, right? And you sort of say, okay, the other kids are also trying to kill you, right? Like, what would that be like? Because the teachers were gone and couldn't really control them anymore. So I think, and that's something you see kind of with like some Burton stuff and some Gorey stuff.
All right, that's interesting. So let's skip ahead a little bit because we don't want to run out of time. Tell us about your current crowdfunding project that's going on at this moment.
So, we're on Kickstarter right now. We've had a pretty exciting campaign, and it's definitely coming right down to the wire for us. So last I checked, we're at roughly 30K, and we run out of 40, so roughly 75% of the way there. And we run out of time at Thursday at 1 p.m., I believe. So it's we don't really know what's going to happen. It's pretty tight right now, but it's an exciting position to be in.
All right. Do you have any advice for similar developers who are looking for crowdfunding and making their own game like you guys?
I think we're and Will, feel free to jump in here too, but kind of we're so new to this. This is our first game, so we're not really in a we feel kind of weird giving anyone advice right now. So I'd sort of say come talk to us again in a few months, and hopefully we have something a little bit more helpful to say. But right now we're just figuring it out ourselves.
Well, that's fine too. It's a decent answer if you don't have a really good answer. So the final question is, and everyone remember to check out their Kickstarter, because I've really loved this game, and you guys can try the demo. I hope you like it too. But tell us a little about the future of your company and where you're going here, no matter what happens, where you're going to take it from here one way or other.
I think right now that's still something we're figuring out. That's really dependent on the campaign. Man, by the way, fighting that swirler boss is tough. And I think we're going to see what happens. Up until this point, we've essentially we just got out of school, right? We're not working right now, and we've put what resources we have into building this, and we're pretty much at the end of those. So essentially relying on friends and family at this point. So I don't know. I think kind of our future business plans depend a lot on what happens with this particular campaign and this particular game.
All right. Well, I want to thank you guys for being here. And I guess now I'll just ask you if there's anything else you want to say, because this is actually a pretty good place to stop if I can beat this guy. So you guys just go ahead and I'll cut it after I finish him.
The one thing I would say is that we're incredibly grateful to all the people who've backed us so far. Running a Kickstarter campaign is kind of intense, and it's really exciting being able to go back to the site and sort of see people making positive comments and giving advice and weighing in, and it's really humbling. So that's the one thing I would say is thank you to our backers.
All right, well, Will, do you have anything to say before we close this up? Because I just beat that boss with the spinning chairs, so
that was really impressive. Well done.
Thank you. I think they got a good view of the gameplay so far, and be sure to check it out for them. And we hope everything goes well for you guys because we expect great things in the future.